Well, hello, you wonderful humans, and welcome back to Elden Ring. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to get a spell that can basically one-shot any boss in the game. This thing is absolutely ridiculously OP, and we'll be getting a couple of other really fun Ashes of Ore and spells that you should be getting in Elden Ring to become super OP. And this is actually surprisingly easy to get, and you can one-shot bosses with it. Unfortunately, we will need to be in the third area to be able to do this, which means you're going to have to take the Grand Lift of Dectus, or you're going to have to go through the Cave of Death. No matter which way you go, as long as you can get to the third area, you should be perfectly fine. Now, we're going to start here from the Erdtree Gazing Hill, which is just left of the Grand Lift, and then from here, we can start making our way all the way into this volcanic area of Doom. It is a bit of a run from here, but we actually won't have to fight anything along the way. So all we need to do is just follow this path up through into the mountain, and we should be good, avoiding any boss and any monster along the way. As you make it up to the top of this first area, you're gonna meet a Tibia Mariner. Just run right past this thing, and you can hop right up the edges of this, and then down onto the other side. And on the other side of this, there's actually going to be a new Site of Grace that you can pick up. So make sure to pick up all the Site of Graces along the way. It's going to be like right on the other side of this, down here inside of Mount Agelmir. From this Site of Grace, we're just going to keep running straight through this mountain. Now, there is going to be a bunch of these like volcanic vents that are around. Don't get hit by those. They will kill you. You just kind of got to run in between all of these, pick up any cool items you see along the way, and you should be perfectly fine. There's going to be sacred seeds and stuff all through here, but just avoid as much of the volcanic death as humanly possible. And we're going to continue around to this left side. There's going to be a bunch of dudes that start falling from the sky as you run through here, but just keep going. Once you get out of the Canyon of Fiery Explosions, there's going to be another Site of Grace that you can light up. From here, we're going to continue running through what would be the road, basically all the way up the mountain. You're going to go up to the castle, you're going to turn left, and you're just going to keep following this kind of loop around the mountain. A giant magma worm is going to spawn. You can avoid this just by running right across the edges until you can go through this little gap between the rocks straight ahead of us. From here, we're just going to continue kind of just running along this road. We're going to get into a town that we just got to run straight through. Like I said, you can just keep passing through all this. There's actually a lot of things that we're going to get in this area besides just Comet Azure. Comet Azure just happens to be incredibly OP, and you should absolutely get it. Run past all of these screaming sheep or birds or whatever the hell they are through here and up into the town. Once inside of Hermit Village, we are almost there. You're going to encounter a boss right about here, but just keep running right through. And on the other side of this is going to be a Site of Grace. Here, light up the Site of Grace and then rest at it. Now, if you wanted to, you totally could have fought that boss, but I didn't want to. And right here is going to be the person that we need to talk to. After initiating a conversation with this thing, he's going to slowly, like, open his hand, and you're going to get Comet Azure. Super easy, right? Now, the main downside of Comet Azure is it does require 60 intelligence, so you do have to spec pretty heavily into this, but even watching my previous videos, you shouldn't have a problem getting runes. Now, I don't have 60 intelligence right now, but I did find this video from One Shot Lucas, which made me seek out this, where he killed Starscourge Radahn with one spell. Well done. Now, next up, we're going to get a pretty awesome incantation. Now, if we go back to the Erdtree Grazing Hill Site of Grace, we can run across through here to be able to get to the Atlas Highway location. And there's a couple different ways. You can go up through these stairs and along through here. Follow the road all the way around to be able to get to the Road of Iniquity side path, and then just continue following this road down across the bridge until you get to the Bridge of Iniquity site of grace. From this site of grace, you're just going to keep running through all of the enemies that are here until we get to a little village with a broken bridge. Once you get to this spot, I would recommend taking out any of the wolves that are currently here, because you're going to be invaded by an NPC that's not necessarily difficult, but it is difficult when you've got a bunch of these little like mongrels fighting you. Once you take out the wolves, you can walk a little bit farther forward, and you're going to be invaded by an NPC. Take out this NPC, which is relatively easy, and then you're going to head inside of this building where she spawned, and you're going to loot the corpse. This is going to give you an incantation called Golden Vow. It does have an FP cost of 47, but increases your attack and defense for self and all of your allies. Now, it does require a faith of 25, which isn't too bad. It's not nearly as bad as Comet Azure, but you're also going to get a weapon from killing that NPC. That weapon is called the Sacred Butchering Knife. This has a ability on it called Barbaric War, and it has attribute scaling of Strength and Dex of E and Faith of D. From this site of grace, you're going to run along this road right here and into this field. You're going to be looking for, like, right around here, there's going to be this scarab that is rolling around. All we need to do is kill this thing. I hit the goat instead. All we need to do is kill this thing before it disappears, and we get the Ash of War lightning ram. Of course, I sacrificed a ram for this, but this particular Ash of War is ridiculous. Ash of War equipped, the fun begins. Hit L2, you'll bleat like a goat, and then you'll do this little electric roll. Now, at first glance, you might think, well, that's dumb. Oh, it's not. It's amazing. This roll can actually be continuously chained together, where you can just completely roll through your enemies and ruin their lives while bleeding like a goat. Next up, we're going to head back to the Altus Plateau, over to the Outer Wall Battleground. From here, we can hop on our noble steed, and we're going to head right outside of the gate. After running out the gate, you're going to turn right, and then you're going to head into this camp, and you're going to see the scarab that we need to kill to acquire the lightning / Ash of War. Just go ahead and murder this thing as quick as possible before it disappears, and try not to get killed by all the things that are going to spawn behind you, and you can get the Ash of War. Now, if you've ever wanted to be like Thor, but with a sword, this is the weapon for you. When you hit L2, this is going to like send a lightning bolt into your blade and then lightning around it, and then also leaving your blade imbued with lightning. Let's see if we can use this poor guy as a nice little scapegoat. And the bolts of lightning after the slash do AoE damage. Now, this will also pretty substantially boost the power of your weapon, especially if you have stuff scaled into intelligence, and it's just really, really freaking cool.